It's all good. All right, let's party, pal.
All right, so let's just I gave you a great intro on the beginning, and now
Oh,
we're getting
nice.
started uh, with the most important division in football and the most important division in the history of football, the NFC East. My theory or strategy for how this podcast is going to go is I kind of want to point out what my favorite bet is in each division. And for this one, and it's not a homer pick. This is not a homer pick in any way
I'm getting a
whatsoever.
coffee. No.
This is not a homer pick
Yeah,
in
sure.
any way whatsoever. Eagles to win the division plus 165. It's the only bet that makes any sense, I think, in this division because no one, the NFC East, there's never a winner back to back years, going back to the Cowboys of the 90s. There's never back to back winners of the division. Cowboys won it last year. I don't think Giants or Washington have a chance in this division. What do you think?
I think you're right on like not picking a team to go back to back. I mean, it could happen, but I don't trust the Cowboys at all.
And I think they got worse this year from last year. I think that,
Yeah.
losing Cooper and Zeke seems to sort of, hitting that running back wall at this point in his career. I could see them, making the Super Bowl, and I could see them missing the playoffs this year because I don't trust their coach at all.
Yeah, I don't think that. I think like their win total is what 10. So anybody
Yeah.
like the Cowboys, Yankees, Lakers, they're always just gonna get like an inflated type
Yeah.
number and stuff. So I'll take the under on the total team total for sure on them. And best case scenario, they probably push at 10. I think at least. But the Eagles and the Cowboys I just feel like it's too low of a price regardless for a 17-week, 18-week season to
Yeah.
just get a 1.6 payout because the Eagles were at plus 230, right? Or something.
Yeah,
I mean,
they've been getting a ton of hype pretty much
that's
since
another
the
thing.
draft.
That's another thing that sort of scares me when everybody's just like everyone thinks the Cowboys are going to be shit or shittier, and then everyone thinks the Eagles are going to be better. That really throws me off. But I would pick Washington, but Wentz is their quarterback, so I can't do it. I would. I think that D is good, but I can't do it because of Wentz. And then the Giants, I don't think they're going to win the division, but I do like their totals over. I think this is the last
They're
shot
at
for the
7
Giants.
right now on DraftKings. You think you like Giants over 7?
I do. I really do. I think the Giants are going to that like between Saquon and Jones. This is the last chance they really have to do anything. And then their defense is good. They had a lot of injuries too last year.
Yeah.
So I don't know. The Giants, I don't know if they're going to win the division, but if you had a couple bucks, I'd sprinkle it on them at like plus 700. I just don't think it's worth it I think the Eagles and Cowboys probably going to win the division. I just don't think it's worth it for that.
Yeah, there's no real value. I would say Giants over 7 wins would probably be if I had to take a chance. Cowboys under 10 I like too, but I wouldn't feel great about it. But yeah, Giants over 7. It seems like they're going to have a better, luck wise. And now that they actually have a better coach in there in Dayball who has a sense of what to run on offense, they have great receivers. And Daniel Jones I'm always surprised when I watch him play. I'm like, he's actually pretty decent. Like, I know he's a joke, but he's like Kirk Cousins, where we all make fun of him. And then you watch and he has really good games sometimes.
Yeah, he has like problems with like consistency and stuff. So I don't know. I think at plus 700, I'm not going to take any of these bets, but I would probably take the Giants to win the division just because they have such high odds. And if you don't think a team's going to go back to back this year, the Giants, the Cowboys make no sense. The Eagles, their thing plummeted at plus 230.
Yeah, they made, if you got them 2 months ago, if you got them before they traded for AJ Brown, you're enjoying it.
Yeah, and also I don't know how I feel about Jalen Hurts, unfortunately.
Well, I'll tell you, and this is an exclusive take that I've kind of been keeping off Twitter because Eagles fans are very sensitive, and I don't want to upset anyone, but I don't trust Jalen Hurts very much. But who I do trust is Gardner Minshew. I think worst case scenario, if this team starts 2-4, 2-5 with Hurts, I think we can. I Gardner Minshew with these weapons around him would be one of the most fun offenses in the league. I've wanted Gardner Minshew to start since last year. I just have to keep my mouth shut because nobody agrees with me. I always try to get people to see the light. I mean, I don't know. What do you think? Minshew, how do you feel?
I think Jalen Hurts can be. When I say I don't really trust Jalen Hurts, I definitely don't trust him in the playoffs. But I could see him having a pretty good regular season, especially if you look at the Eagles' schedule.
Their schedule is, I mean, the whole NFC East is an easy schedule, but for the Eagles and Cowboys, they get to, that's the thing with the other thing with the Cowboys win prop is you look at their schedule, and the same with the Eagles. It's like they're gonna, fall ass backwards into at least 8 or 9 wins, no matter what, even if they're
Holy
slight.
shit.
So
the Eagles could like go, in the first 6 weeks can go 5-1, or like probably 5-1. They got the Lions. They could beat the Lions. They're playing Minnesota at home, and then they got Washington, who they obviously went.
I cannot wait for Wentz to come back to Philadelphia. That is going to be that, and Ben Simmons' first game back in Philadelphia are going to be some of the greatest moments in sports history.
Week 3 is at Washington, though, but then you got the Jags and then the Cardinals, and the Cardinals don't have Hopkins for.
He's out the first 6 or 8 or something like that.
So you don't even have him, and then it's the Cowboys week 6. You could go 5-1, honestly. So Wentz, I'm sorry, what's his fucking face? Hurts is gonna probably look good in those first 6 weeks. But again, the East is I for value. I just take the Giants to win the division. For the totals, I'd go under Cowboys, over Giants.
Yeah, I agree with that. And yeah, with the Eagles, I've looked at it every which way since their schedule came out, and even if everything goes wrong, they're still going to win 9 games. It's just they're too good, and I feel like they're going to win the division from a non-homer place. Just them against the Cowboys, I think we're finally good enough to take them on. The
Cowboys' schedule isn't as easy the first 7 weeks. Yeah, the first 6 weeks.
Yeah, I remember
they got the Bucks, they got the Bengals, they got the Giants, the Washington, and then the Rams and the Eagles. That's a tougher schedule than the Eagles schedule.
Yeah, and I mean, I just remember last year the Cowboys and Bucks played that opening game of week 1, and it was a really tight game. I think Cowboys, I like them in week 1. I like a team with like something to prove in week 1. Same thing, and we'll obviously we'll get to week 1 game lines in 2 months when they actually matter, but I do like the Cowboys are going to be a dog, and I do like whatever the Bills open up as against the Rams. I think those are 2 games that I already have my eye on as like, I can see the narrative of how these go.
We'll get to the Bucks anyways, right?
Yeah, we'll start NFC here. We'll move on to NFC North, and for me. I kind of like these Vikings. I like their coach. I had them down at plus 265 to win the division. The thing is, Packers I still think are going to be good, but I can see them both. I can see Vikings getting to 11, 12 games. I can see them in that mix to win the division. Their over under is 9 wins. I definitely see them going over that, at least 10, I would say.
Yeah, I think the Vikings are. They always beat the Packers every year, once at home.
Yep.
And they got them the first game of the year at home. Obviously, with Adams not being there anymore, is
no matter what, Packers there's gonna be some growing pains early. And you look at was that week 1 last year, the Packers got blown out by the Saints, and the Saints they didn't even have a home. They were playing the game in Jacksonville or whatever. So I think the Packers are gonna struggle to start the year. Rodgers is going to have to get comfortable with new receivers. This Vikings, he's been throwing to these same guys for 3 years. I love their receivers. Even Osborne, the third receiver, is going to be great. And from what they're saying in training camp, with Zimmer gone, the new coach wants to throw the ball a lot more, which I think is exactly what they should do. Kirk Cousins, let him do it. You paid him all that money, let him go do it. Stop being scared of him.
Yeah, I was talking about this with someone the other day, just about how Kirk Cousins is such a doofus that everyone just loves to shit on him for whatever reason, but he is good. He's got Jefferson's an incredible. He's got a top 5 receiver and a top 5 running back. Dalvin Cook was hurt last year for a little bit too, right?
Yeah. He gets banged up. The way he runs, I think it's tough for him to stay healthy. But
yeah,
when he is, he's definitely top 5.
Yeah, so I would take. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to even look for the Bears. The Lions, I did put $50 on the Lions at plus 1,000. Just low risk. Who knows? They played with a little bit of confidence last year. You never know if they get things clicking. You never know. One injury away from one of the top receivers. Who knows, right? I think it's decent value, but I'm not going to tell people that it's a good bet. I'm with you on the Vikings to win the division. It doesn't make sense to take the Packers because they're a what? Minus
190. So there's no.
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense to lay any money for, again, 18 weeks.
Yeah.
What's the point of that, right?
Even if you're afraid of it, if you don't like Vikings to win the division, at least Vikings over 9. I think that they're probably gonna end up being the best wild card team. Lions, they got a lot better at the end of the year. Their offensive line is going to be good. I don't think anyone likes Jared Goff. They drafted a quarterback. I forget who does. I think they ended up with Ritter from Cincinnati.
I don't know. I don't know. I know they got the kid from Michigan at the 2nd overall pick.
They took a stab at another quarterback, but with Goff.
You're right.
It seems like they're still tanking a little bit here. Like if you're gonna actually try to win, that's not who you're going into the season with at quarterback. Even you'd at least bring in Tyrod Taylor or somebody for a little competition or something.
Yeah. Goff isn't someone that is gonna. I don't think at least it's gonna have. He's been in the league now for how many years? Like I think he's past his like breakout performance. I just think like it just didn't make any sense for the Packers. I think people who are going to do like division winner parlays are going to pick the Packers, and that's why it's like super low like that or minus.
Yeah, you can anchor a parlay around the Packers, but I don't think the Packers are as much of a sure thing as they have been in the past. And
I would take the Vikings for sure.
Yeah, and the Bears we haven't even mentioned. I think it's pretty much they're again a team that's not really trying to win. They've given Justin Fields nothing to work with. They let Allen Robinson leave. They haven't improved the offensive line. They let good players on the defense leave. They're just trying to lose as many games as possible and pick up draft picks for next year. They're even their over under is 6.5 wins, and I would go under. So I just think they're useless.
Yeah, I would not. I would only look under for the Bears. I don't know how they're gonna do anything offensively. Justin Fields isn't necessarily like accurate quarterback. I mean, he can make moves and he can run, but he's also. After 6 weeks, people are going to figure him out. So
yeah, I mean, I think from what I can remember watching games last year, it seemed like their offense was better with Andy Dalton in there, which is not a good sign for them this year.
Sure.
So then NFC South is let's see. I guess I'm going to go.
I'm off the. I'll say right now, I'm off the Bucs. I think the Bucs are going to go under, and I think like what are they like minus 330?
Yeah, it just. And today at training camp, the center Ryan Jensen carted off. They're 11.5 wins. I am starting to like that under. I think Saints over 8 wins is where I would go here.
Me too. I think the Saints were. I thought the Saints were going to be good last year because Breeze was going to be gone and it was going to be an upgrade, but they just had too many injuries and stuff like that.
Once Trevor Siemian is your guy.
Yeah, exactly. And they won, I think, like a game with like no quarterback. I remember on Monday night they had some guy, I don't even know his name, but they played the Dolphins, and it was a close game.
Yeah,
Like the
they were like
defense,
5-5 still when they had no business. Like they're a team that knows how to win, and they got 2 first rounders, Trevor Penning, the tackle, Olave, the receiver from Ohio State. They went out and just got really good players, good young players at positions where they needed to replace guys. Jameis,
yeah.
Jameis, since the LASIK he started out really good last year. If he can stay healthy, the
No, he's
defense,
good. He's good. The only problem is Sean Payton. Like,
yeah,
you can't really know how much of an impact he's going to make, but you assume a big one not being there, right? So
yeah,
that's the
and
only issue. But I
well,
wouldn't touch the Bucks.
Alvin Kamara might miss some time for beating up a guy.
That too.
You got so I don't know what their schedule looks like the first 4 to 6 weeks. It sounds like maybe they'll give them 6 and then they'll talk it down to 4. But if they start out 0-4, 1-5, that could be tough to come back from with that roster.
Yeah, they don't again. Well, they have the Falcon. They have
Falcons is a win, yeah.
Yeah, they have the Falcons, the Bucks, Carolina, Minnesota, and Seattle in the first 5 weeks. There's no reason to think that they can't go 3-2, 4-1 at
And
least.
that defense kind of owns Brady. That the coordinator who took over
Exactly.
as the coach there, Allen. He's really owned Brady the last few years. I think they've beaten him
100%.
like 4 straight times or something. So you
Yeah,
know,
they I don't think I think last year on Monday night it was like they didn't get a point, the
yeah.
Bucks. Or they might have kicked the field goal, but he definitely has their number, and that's always something you gotta like always think about. Like, some guys just have guys' numbers. And again, the Bucks, man, I think this is the year where like people will start going, maybe Brady should have retired. They're fucking old, bro.
Yes.
They're old. Who do they have? Who's
Well, they added Russell Gage to sort of make up for losing Gronk, just to get another.
They just got a receiver, didn't they?
Yeah, Gage from the Falcons. They signed to a big.
Okay.
So
I thought they got someone else.
he's gonna get a lot. Oh, they just added Julio Jones, who was bad last year with the Titans. We all saw Julio's kind of washed. I don't know. Maybe Brady can work something out there, but
Maybe, but he was always hurt and stuff. He's not young.
it sounds like a desperate signing to me. Like, to me, Julio Jones is that's like somebody a bad team signs, like, to give the fans something to care about at this point in his career. That's not, if you're trying to win a title. You don't. I don't think Julio is helping you too much as the fourth receiver.
I think the Bucks are in a lot of trouble, and I'm just looking at their schedule: Cowboys, Saints, Packers, Chiefs, and then the Falcons. Week in the first 5 weeks, easily can go 2-3, if not 1-4. Easily can go 2 or 3.
How do we feel about the bottom of this division? Panthers, Falcons. Panthers are 6.5 over under. Falcons 5. I wish the Panthers were like 5.5. I would love to. I think they got six wins in them, definitely. I like the roster. I don't know what to think about the coach.
Yeah, me too. I like the Panthers over better than I like the Falcons over. I think the Falcons are terrible. Like,
Yeah.
Mariota's the quarterback, right? How are you going to win anything? Yeah, Carolina. I don't know, man. Baker Mayfield was decent the year before, pretty good the year before, and last year he was hurt a lot.
He played through a pretty bad shoulder injury,
Exactly.
and he still had moments where he looked good. 2 years ago, he was great, I think. And then you look last year, the kind of offense the Panthers were running. Sam Darnold was rushing the ball a lot, which I feel like Mayfield is just a better version of what Darnold was last year in the offense. And they still, before Darnold got hurt and they ended up having to go with PJ Walker and Cam Newton, which, no offense is going to win with that. They started out 3-0. I think they were like 5-2 or something. Like, they were off to a good start. They got, if McCaffrey stays healthy, which I don't trust him to. He's a great player, but DJ Moore is one of the more underrated receivers. They have the weapons there. The defense has been good. They lost Hassan Reddick and Gilmore, but they still have good guys. I feel like Panthers over 6.5, maybe even plus 400 to make playoffs isn't a bad,
I'm with you, man. I think the I was looking at this division and I was like, I would take the Saints, but then with Peyton and everything not being there, and you never know what you're going to get with Winston. The Panthers legitimately at what are they, plus 650 to win the division, plus 7?
Panthers to win division are up to plus 1,000.
I would take that. Holy hell, yeah, I would take that.
I'm a little more just plus 400 make the playoffs. Plus 1,000 win the division is a little much. I don't know. Even best case scenario, I don't know if they can get more than 9 wins, 10 wins. But yeah, I think
that over 6.5 though, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And then NFC West for me, it's not a lot. 49ers plus 200 to win the division is the one I like. I think a lot of people like that. You think people are going to be on the 49ers?
Yeah.
See, that's even as much as I don't trust Trey Lance, just because I've never seen him, it feels a lot like what happened in Kansas City when they went from Alex Smith to Mahomes, where when you go from Garoppolo to Trey Lance, what you can do as an offense really expands, and then Kyle Shanahan getting to just call crazy plays and create space for Debo and Elijah Mitchell and Brandon Ayuk and all these guys. And that defense is just tough every year. D'Amico Ryan's great coordinator. I think the Rams, they're going to have a little bit of a Super Bowl hangover. No, which makes sense. They're a veteran team. They finally got the Super Bowl. Maybe they start out, a little slow. I think the 49ers kind of take the division and never look back.
It's possible. I think I wouldn't touch obviously the obviously I'm not touching the Cardinals. I think they're going under 8.5. I'm not touching the Seahawks, for God's sake, obviously. Taking the under on that one. Yeah, the only thing you would look at is the Niners at plus 200, but I would still – what's their win total, 10?
10.
I think the hype train's a lot on them. I don't think Garoppolo is from Alex Smith, like your comparison. Alex Smith and I think Garoppolo is better than Alex Smith, and I think Mahomes is better than Trey Lance.
Well,
so it's not like
that's
the other
thing.
way.
I don't know how good Trey Lance is, but I know I didn't think
he can't be better than Mahomes.
I know I didn't think Mahomes was going to be this good. Watching him at Texas Tech throw 20 interceptions, I was like, Trey Lance has, and he can also he's in an offense and with a coach that knows how to disguise his weaknesses very well. I wouldn't be surprised if there are games where the 49ers throw the ball under 20 times and blow teams out. Like their running game is just that good that they can bring him along at a very slow progress and get him ready. By the time the playoffs comes, then he's going to be able to need to throw the ball. But I think, and he's, the Cardinals, I don't see them doing anything. Hopkins is going to be missed the beginning of the year. Their win total right now.
No Chandler Jones.
Yeah, Chandler Jones is gone. They're 8.5. I like their under. Kyler just gave a press conference today where he's pissed off and has something to prove. Good. I hope this is what I want. Like we wanted to see Kyler give a shit a little bit more than he has. So I'm rooting for them to be good, but I don't see it. And Seattle, total rebuilding year. Geno at quarterback. I think they'll be a fun team. I really like Rashad Penny to lead the league in rushing. His props at plus 1,600 to lead the league in rushing. I think he's going to get a ton of carries, but yeah, they're not going to win anything.
Yeah, that's a decent player prop for sure. Maybe not. I don't know if he's going to win, be the leader in rushing, but
Yeah, I was
because
just
they're going to run
well.
them. It's good. No, it's a good bet at plus
Let's
1600 for sure.
let's talk player props now. Just how long have we been going? Yeah, let's touch on player props now, and then maybe we'll do the NFC next week and get a little double pot out of it. How do you feel about
AFC.
that? Or we'll do the AFC next week, and then that's how it'll done. That's how it'll be done. All right. So
I'll be honest with you. I haven't looked at any player props this year. Zero.
okay, well you bring them up on the computer real quick and take a look because I wrote down just a few. The first one for the rushing yards, Rashad Penny, he was plus 1600. The other rushing one I like, and these were on FanDuel where I found these. It was Najee Harris, rushing yards leader, plus 1800. I think Pittsburgh is going to be a really good team this year.
You think so? You think the Steelers? Yeah.
Wait till we get to the AFC. Yeah, I'm in on Pittsburgh, and I don't think it matters much who their quarterback is. Now, the only thing is, I wish there was a prop for running back combined yardage because I think Najee Harris is going to get a lot of receptions out of the backfield, which is kind of why I lean more towards Rashad Penny. I think he's going to get straight handoff after handoff. But those are two guys, plus 1600, plus 1800, where the value was, a little bit better and not necessarily Dalvin Cook or one of the higher price guys.
Yeah, no, I think the Steelers, I'm with you on the Steelers, and I think they're going to run the ball. Definitely a lot more because who's your quarterback?
Yeah, it's either going to be
Pickett?
Trubisky or Pickett. I think that's their only avenue to win. And the great thing is their coach is Mike Tomlin. So he knows how to win games, probably second best coach in football behind Belichick. And I just trust him to their defense is so good. If they can get 20, 25 points, they should win games.
Yeah.
And that's running the ball is basically their path.
I'm sorry, I can't really find any player futures.
I'm trying to look it up for you to send it to you on my end.
Yeah. Because I'm just on my little offshore book thing, and I'm
I know you like to keep it old school. You still got the offshore account. You don't want Uncle Sam touching your money. And,
no. Stay away, buddy. The little that I make, I can't give it to
check the chat. I just sent you a link. It should say I think I sent you the one to rushing props. So just click total player props there, and then you can go down to rushing yards. Jonathan Taylor is the favorite, plus 400. He's probably going to win.
Yeah.
But it's more. It's not fun to put money on the guy who's favored. Nick Chubb is probably, for my money, the best running back in football, but he's going to split carries with Kareem Hunt, so I don't trust him. Elijah Mitchell plus 1600 is a good choice, and I think that's kind of. Oh, I did have one deep sleeper that I liked, which was Tony Pollard. He's all the way at plus 7,500. If anything happens to Zeke, even if anything doesn't happen to Zeke, Tony Pollard might just be the best running back on the team now.
Yeah. No, I agree with you on that one. I think Zeke's just always injured, and he's just a little overrated now. And Tony Pollard's playing great. Like I could see that being like a storyline throughout the year is just a running back controversy in Dallas. Like plus 7,500 is a.
Yeah, no, and then the other
How
one.
How about Travis Etienne here plus 5,000?
Well, that's the thing. If he had any other coach, I just know from Doug Peterson being in Philly, he rotates the running backs, and he just doesn't like running the ball. He wants to throw it. He's an old quarterback. His running game is the short passing game, very West Coast ideas. The other long shot I like is Kareem Hunt at plus 10,000, just based on if anything happens to Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt's going to get 30 carries a game. But that's I think everyone I like.
Yeah, I guess
for
everybody who's favored up to Christian McCaffrey to me doesn't really make too much sense. You're
yeah.
Taylor won last year. He's gonna get a lot more runs again, plus 400. He might, you never know, right? They might have to take it easy on the fucking guy so he's a little bit fresher in the playoffs. You don't want this guy getting smoked again.
Yeah,
Henry was hurt. Cook was hurt.
Taylor, Henry, Cook, I think are all going to see their carries go down to try and keep them healthy.
Same, I think, with Mixon. They know that if they're gonna go on a deep playoff run, you want to stay fresh, and it doesn't really. Yeah. And then, Chubb's. Who's the other running back on Cleveland?
Kareem Hunt is, and then they've got Dearness Jones, who's a third running back who's good that they used a lot last year. The more I look at this, the more Rashad Penny with the Seahawks.
Yeah.
The only thing is, if their defense is so bad, they're going to be behind in every game and just have to let Geno throw. But I really think he's going to get a lot of carries. Him, Najee, Elijah Mitchell, that cluster of guys. Honestly, if you just put like $5 on all of them, I think you would probably come out ahead at the end. I think one of them is winning. Let's move on to passing yards, most regular season passing yards. The ones I wrote down for the leader is Justin Herbert plus 700. It's not exciting, but Mahomes plus 800. I don't know what else. Nothing's going to change there. They're going to throw the ball more than ever, even though Tyreek's leaving. I just feel like it's going to be more Kelsey, Juju, Valdez-Scantling, all these guys. They're still going to throw the ball just as much. So I was a little surprised about that. Derek Carr plus 1,100. He's going to throw the ball a ton.
That's the first thing that I saw was Derek Carr plus 1,100.
Dak plus 1,100. You got to think. I mean, well, I don't know, but yeah, in that range, Derek Carr looks like the best. And then our guy Kirk Cousins down there at plus 2,000. We're just talking about how they're going to throw the ball more in Minnesota this year. Great weapons. If you think that the Vikings are going to win 11, 12 games, then you got to think there's a chance Kirk Cousins has a great season. This is going to end in me calling for Kirk Cousins for MVP, I'm sure.
How the hell is Aaron Rodgers at plus 2,500 and tied with Matty Ryan?
Yeah, that feels like just a trap, because you look at it and you're like, that's insane. It's Aaron Rodgers, but they do want to run the ball more. They have great running backs, Dylan and Aaron Jones, and they're going to feed them and probably save Rodgers as much as they can. And you don't know what kind of chemistry he's going to have. They lose Adams, they lose Valdez-Scantling, and now it's going to be Alan Lazard, Christian Watson, Randall Cobb, Romeo Dobbs. I think people are, I guess Vegas
I agree with you that it is a bit of a trap, but when are you ever going to get Aaron Rodgers at a Tua and Matt Ryan price, when you never know who could really excel in his system, and he could just, it's probably, there's a reason it's that low, but not a crazy bet if you put a little bit on him. Russ I'm sure Russ will get some money. Josh Allen and Dak are going to get money, but Derek Carr at plus 1,100, who's exactly at the same price as Dak and Josh Allen, seems like it's a little. It seems a little wild, because that company that you think of those guys as like perennial Pro Bowlers, but then you think of like Devontae Adams, and you think about Waller. He could easily lead the league in
I like Carr there at plus 1,100. The sleeper that I'm looking at, don't forget about old Davis Mills in Houston. They're going to be losing every game by a lot of points. I could see him putting up some crazy 4,600 yard season of garbage time yardage, just because they don't have anyone else they want throwing the ball there.
Yeah, there's no way I'm putting any money on Davis. There's absolutely no shot. It
I
doesn't
don't-
matter. But I see what you're saying. Like they're always just going to be like throwing the ball. But
Yeah. The
I got you.
So just we got a couple minutes left here, but some of the receiver ones that I like most receiving yards, CeeDee Lamb and Devontae Adams both at plus 1,400. CeeDee is going to get a lot more looks his way with Cooper out. Adams is coming into an offense where he's going to have to share the ball more, but the guys he's sharing with Renfro and Waller aren't necessarily the deep threats. I think he's going to get a lot of plays down the field, a lot of yards. That's, him and Carr were at Fresno State together. The connection's already there. So those are the two guys I think with the best chance at the top of the board. And then my deep shots, DK Metcalf, just because I think the Seahawks are going to have to throw the ball, and he's a really good receiver. And, he could just have one of those crazy Isaac Bruce in the mid-90s Rams years where he has like 1,600 receiving yards on a team that doesn't win.
Yeah. Looking at this board here, if you're looking at the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wow, they expect Kelsey to have a gigantic year, huh?
Yeah, I think they know that he's going to be relied on. He kind of didn't have a great regular season last year and then turned it on at the end and then for the playoffs. But he's going to get a lot of looks his way.
Wild card for if I'm just looking at the top guys, you can't go wrong with Jamar Chase. He just makes so many like gigantic big plays that he's always – didn't he lead the league in like most receptions over like 20 or 30 yards or something like that? They can only get better. Him and Burrow can only get better within the first 5. Even Cooper Kupp was unbelievable. I don't think Cooper Kupp can have the same year as he did last year. I don't think. He was like just historic.
Yeah.
I mean, he could, but
you would
Jamar
think defenses would adjust a little bit.
A little. And we have less than a minute. And then DJ Moore. I mean, plus 3,000?
Yeah.
You never freaking know. He gets a little bit of him, and Baker could come in there and they could get a little bit of chemistry going. But plus 3,000 for him is not too shabby, I don't think. I like DJ Moore. I think he's underrated.
Yeah, I'm looking. I don't know who else I see.
Rudy?
I mean, DJ Moore is definitely a guy that is a go-to receiver that Baker can lean on, 10, 12 targets a game. So I can see it. I think that's probably about as deep as I would go looking at the rest of this. Terry McLaurin, maybe Cortland Sutton, maybe, but yeah, I don't really see anything else. I think my favorite is CeeDee Lamb plus 1,400.